It's round 6 of Super Rugby and it's time to talk about the Saturday games. This Saturday we have 4 games lined up. It's the Hurricanes versus the Blues, the Rebels and the Lions. Then we have the Sharks and the Jaguares and the Bulls up against the Highlanders. Which one is your favorite one to call here? Which one is the one you are most excited for? I think it's actually quite difficult ones to call, but the ones I'm most excited for is the Hurricanes versus the Blues and then the Sharks versus the Jaguares. Game 1, it is an all-Kiwi affair, a Kiwi derby, the Hurricanes versus the Blues. Before the Friday games, this is the standings, how it currently is while I'm recording. The Hurricanes, they are number 2 with the Blues being number 4. Both have 13 points at the moment, so it's just that points 4 that is splitting them at the moment. The Hurricanes 3 out of 4 so far. They have only one loss behind their name, and that's to the Stormers. As a matter of fact, the Blues, they beat the Stormers last weekend, and that was a massive victory. No one called it. I think 3% of people on Superbru called that one. If you do play Superbru, the links are down below. The Blues, their season so far, 3 out of 5. The other losses they've had was against the Crusaders and the Chiefs, so they wouldn't want to make it 0 out of 3 against New Zealand opposition. The history between these two sides, the Hurricanes, they are definitely favourites, winning 9 out of the last 10 games these teams have played. The Blues lost one in 2014 against between these two sides, and the last time they won away from home against the Hurricanes is in 2013. Looking at the teams, both coaches didn't make too many changes in their sides. The Blues up front, they brought in Tuungafasi. Just the Blues scrum have been struggling. Last week Tuungafasi came on, I think in the 35th minute, still in the first half. And then the scrum kind of got a bit better, but the scrum still struggled against the Stormers. And the Hurricane scrum isn't a bad one, is it? So there might be a problem or two this weekend again. Number 7 and 8, Gibson comes in. Johanne, he also gets his first start for this season after the coach of the Blues decided to rest Sotutu, the young prodigy coming through, just having a breakthrough season. Who would have thought he's playing out Johanne at this moment? But hey, Johanne would want to take the best out of this game. The backline, it's still the same with Johanne at number 13 and Marchant at number 14. Well, I had my doubts about this combination. Marchant scored 2 tries last weekend against my team, so that's how you prove someone wrong. So that's going to be good for them again, hopefully, if that combination works. The Blues team out-muscled the Stormers last week, and the Stormers are a powerful side that likes to out-muscle other teams. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it this weekend, though, after traveling and then playing directly. They said they only got in 1 or 2 training sessions with having some traveling problems that they didn't expect. Hurricanes, they made 2 changes to their side. Jordie Barrett comes in. He's back to after his rest week for the All Blacks selection policy, or the All Blacks resting policy, and he'll be firing at all cylinders. He would probably want to play and he want to be his best because he was in great form before that rest week. Fletcher Smith, he is still at number 10, and well, who else would be at number 10? Because the other number 10, he did injure himself and he's probably going to be out for a long time. Fletcher Smith is now up against another New Zealand, and that might be a difficult one for him. But hey, it's not the most difficult competition against Otere Black at the moment, but Otere Black, you kicked really well last week. At number 4 for the Hurricanes, they bring in Walker Laiwere, and that's about it for the Hurricane changes. Both teams, they have a lot of changes on their benches. The Hurricanes, they have no actual number 10 on the bench. So if there is an injury, I'm pretty sure Jordie Barrett will probably have to step up at number 10. The Blues brought in some energy for their second half, basically changing everyone in their forward pack on the bench. So they're expecting to bring on them probably to bring some energy to a side that has been traveling. The Blues, they were good last weekend. No one expected it, but now it's against the Hurricanes after traveling. This will be a true test of what they can do. The Hurricanes at home, though, they will be favourites. I think the Hurricanes will win by 6 points. Next up, it is the Rebels versus the Lions. The Rebels, they come into this match with 2 from 5. They are second in the Australian standings at the moment, but this comes with 1 more game than the Brumbies and 1 less victory They have won against the Highlanders last week. That was a surprise as well. Not a lot of people called that on Superbru either. So they might be favouring themselves after that one. The Lions, they are fourth in the South African pool at the moment, only having one victory so far, and they need to win if they want to fix their season, and they need to improve fast. They have that victory over the Reds in Johannesburg, and that's about it. The history between the two sides is basically 50-50 for both sides. Looking at the teams, usually I look at the changes the teams make, but it's quite difficult if the team doesn't make any changes. The Rebels made no changes to this side, and it's the first time they do that in 5 years. If it works, why change it? That's probably what they are thinking. For the Lions, they made 3 changes to their starting side. Similani comes in at number 13. A lot of people are still talking of him as a future box star. Yeah, he was great start of last year, I think, but then he got injured, and I haven't seen much of him since then, but hopefully he can get back to that form again. Then Albert's the bone collector. He's in at number 7 with Chituka being out injured. I think Chituka's injury is quite serious. And then at number 2, Janssen comes in. Sadi, he retains his spot at number 3 over Yanni du Plessis, and I think it's probably because the scrum is a little bit more stable with Sadi being there. The Lions scrum has been in disarray this year. Both teams will like to run the ball. The Lions should just look out for Callaway on defense, because Callaway scored 2 intercept tries last weekend. It will be a big battle, Yankees versus Tamua, especially the 2 number 10s, 2 international quality number 10s, a Wallaby versus a Springbok. They are very similar type of players as well. They like attacking the line. If there's going to be a gap in front of them, they will take it and try and score a try themselves. I should probably go with the Rebels in this one, but I just have a feeling that the Lions might get a win this weekend for a change. The Lions by 7 for me. Game number 3, like I said, it will be a big one, and it's one I'm definitely not missing for anything. It's the Sharks versus the Jaguares, with things being so close at the moment in the South African pool, like you can see next to me. One of these sides will basically dethrone the Stormers at the top of the South African conference, so it's going to be a big one for sure. The Sharks 4 out of 5 so far this season, winning 3 out of 4 on tour. No one expected that. Maybe they did, but I didn't expect them to do that well on tour. Given they did have quite an easy tour if you compare their tour to other teams' tours, but 3 out of 4, doesn't matter who you play against, that's a great tour. The Jaguares, they have 3 out of 5 so far in the whole season, and this is their 3rd game on tour in South Africa. They lost to the Stormers and then outplayed the Bulls last week. So another win for them, they would want it. Historically, 5 from 8 has went the Sharks' way, but we know how the Jaguares have improved, especially last year, how they got very close. In 2019, the Sharks lost both of their games against the Jaguares, both away and at home. And the last time these two teams played in Durban, the Jaguares won with 51 points to 17. The teams, the Jaguares, actually did not make a lot of changes as one would expect as usual. They brought in a world-class fullback with Tukelet coming in. Carreras, he's also at the wing. Both will make up some ground, and they just make that team a lot stronger. Up front, Kremer is where he should be at number 7, where he belongs. He just brings that edge to the side when he's at the side of the scrum. Lozana shifts from 7 to 6 to make space for Kremer, and then Alemano goes into the locking position with Petty. Vivas, he is at prop, and this team looks world class if you just look at it like that. The scrums will probably be a little bit better. Look out for Sclavi. Last time he played, or last time he came on against the Stormers, I know the scrums went better. Last weekend he started again. The scrums were better as well. So they're finding their feet with him at the prop. The Sharks, they made 4 changes to their sides. 2 Springbok wingers to have back in your side isn't a bad one. Nkosi coming back from his injury, and then Mapimpi coming back from his rest period, or his rest last weekend. So that's just going to add to the 3 Springboks they already have in their backline. The flankers, that was changed with Paul coming in, and then the super tackler in the side, James Venter. The benches, the Jaguares, they have the standouts here. Miotti, he held the fort really well with Bonilla when he was injured. The game could see a lot of tries. I think both of these sides love scoring tries, love running with the ball. But I think penalties would probably split the game at the end of the day. The Sharks, they are in better form, but they have traveled now back to home without an off week. So I think the Jaguares may sneak this one with 4 points. Then it's a game for the two low-lying sides that just wants to fix their season. So both of them have something to play for. It's the Bulls versus the Highlanders. The Bulls 0 from 4. They are completely at the bottom of the South African conference. Well, and the overall conference. The Highlanders 1 out of 4. They are last in the New Zealand pool. They're going to have to make up a lot of ground if they want to catch up with any of the other sides. Even that one victory they had against the Brumbies was just, I still say they won that by pure luck. That's just my Superbru talking. The loss last weekend wouldn't have done them well with the Rebels beating them at home. So now they are in Pretoria after not resting and then traveling. It's going to be difficult. Historically, it does go to the Highlanders though, 6 out of 10. In 2019, the two teams drew, and in 2018 and 17, the Highlanders won at Loftus. But that is a different team to the one we are seeing this year. The big changes that the Highlanders made, the new captain that they have in after Lentjes broke his leg last week. That was not a good thing to see or to hear. Aaron Smith and Dixon are the co-captains for the side, probably for the remainder of the year. The two changes in the front row is big for them. Selby Rickett comes in at the lock. The All Black Frizzell is at number 6. He just brings that go forward power to them. And the one change that they brought in the back line is Punivai. Bulls, they made 4 changes to their side, doing something that a lot of Bulls fans have been calling for. Bringing in Lebok above Mornay Steyn, so the 22-year-old over the 35-year-old. Hey, it's supposed to work, but hopefully he grabs his opportunity. Lebok, he does make some mistakes every now and then. I remember last season, every now and then when he comes on, he makes some big mistakes or big errors. But he is a grown player now. He has grown since last year, so hopefully he grabs this opportunity. There's a few debutants in the side as well. The under-21 Blue Bull captain gets his first Super Rugby appearance, Ace, and then Groenewald also getting a debut. Nortje, he's the other lock in the Bulls side, so it's obvious that the Bulls have some problems at line-out time or at maul time because they changed both of their locks. The benches, the Highlanders completely overhauled their whole bench. The Bulls, they made 2 changes to their side, and this game could go either way. I think the Bulls, they looked promising last weekend with their attacking rugby. They scored some good tries. More tries than usual. The Highlanders, they were also dangerous, but they didn't do too well under the pressure defense. Every time the Rebels pressed up against them, Callaway went and scored an intercept try. So the Bulls might use that to their advantage. If the Bulls do use a pressure defense and they continue a running game, scoring tries, they could get their first win of the season, hopefully for the Loftus fans. I see it going the Bulls' way by 8 points. Guys, let me know your predictions for this weekend down in the comments below. Also, join the Superbru pools, which is also in the description of this video. And then I'll check you for the next one. Cheers.